There's a little secret in the web to print industry. It's very expensive to build and maintain an online e-commerce presence. And I'm not talking about the fees you pay a web to print provider like PageDNA. I'm talking about your time and the time of your team in building online templates. The good news is there's a better way with PageDNA. Welcome to how to lower your total cost of ownership in building web to print templates with PageDNA. I'm Steve Enstead, CEO of PageDNA. We're going to take an interactive tour here on how PageDNA has solved this very demanding problem in a way that'll save a lot of hours and put them back in your pocket. What we're looking at here is a template in Illustrator. Our philosophy in how to support you in graphic arts is to use tools and resources you already have available. You probably already have dozens of files all over your desktop for business cards, brochures, and flyers and other data, similar items that require variable data. So we started with Adobe Illustrator and InDesign as our foundational building block. And here I am today inside of a real world business card that I'm going to build while you watch. And I'd like you to compare what you see here today with your current process that might be using tools that are far less efficient. This business card actually has real live editable type specified inside of InDesign or here Illustrator. And as you can see, we've got fonts and type in there with real names, real titles, and so forth. And I could go in here and actually type if I wanted to, but we won't, because we're going to have real names, titles, addresses, and email addresses in this file that we're about to upload to PageDNA. And we're going to let PageDNA figure it out using heuristics, which is a fancy word for educated guesses. So following rules that we cover in our online training, we prepare a file and we save it as an encapsulated PostScript file out of InDesign or Illustrator. I've got that file on my desktop, and we're going to actually get started now on building the template. In PageDNA, we call templates styles, and I'm building a style right now by taking my InDesign file and uploading it. What's happening right now, frankly, is a little bit of magic. It's actually a lot of code, though. What our software is doing is opening up the PostScript and really reading the PostScript and interpreting things like the page size, the blocks, the fonts, and more. So first, our system has actually figured out the font face, the color, and all that. Let's take a look at the fonts tab so you can see what I'm talking about. Any font that was found in the uploaded document that was editable type has been converted here into a font. Font 1, 2, and 3 are defined here, and we have the font face, size, leading, tracking, and color already loaded by PageDNA without requiring you to do any programming. Exactly what you loaded is exactly what was found here. So garbage in, garbage out. Make sure that your original source file is high quality before proceeding. But we didn't have to do any work. Let's go over to the colors tab. Now, you may not have noticed it, but I'll draw your attention to it now. There is a color on here. We actually have a color. We have a Pantone color here in this case. This green color, this green color here is Pantone 342 uncoded, and that was uploaded in our original file to PageDNA. And here it is, lo and behold, PageDNA has actually eyedroppered the Pantone color and converted it to CMYK, which is what most of you are probably going to have this go to for output on a digital device. However, if you do support litho or other processes that require separation, this will separate out in our software into separate plates, this one being Pantone 342U, or that green color. All those words betray the fact that this was easy. It was done by our system. You just have to upload a good file. But now we get into where a lot of the work happens, the blocks editor. Every chunk of text that flows independently from other chunks of text is a block. We're all familiar with that concept from graphic arts tools, going back to PageMaker and Quark Express, those of us who've been around for a while. Well, our software has actually looked and identified what it believes are separate blocks of text, and it's giving us the opportunity to change how these blocks behave. For example, this block is actually anchored, the little blue dot here, at the baseline of the topmost line. If I zoom in here, you can see it's anchored there. What that means is that this block is going to grow down as additional lines are added. The top line will remain anchored in place. And our system guessed that because this block is in the upper left-hand corner, we might as well assume it's probably going to need more space below. But what if we guessed wrong? No problem. Go into the tool, pick the bottom vertex, and now you can see this block will grow from the bottom upward. However, the block is still in the exact correct position because PageDNA actually read the PostScript and interpreted the position down to the 10,000th of a point with no guessing. This was actually reversed engineered from the PostScript. Let's take a look at these other two blocks here. These two blocks our system currently believes are separate islands of text. But that's not the case, actually. I want to correct PageDNA and tell it, nope, those are one island of text that grows and flows together. So we go to the merge tool, and our system will allow us to merge any eligible block that is directly above or below. And in doing so, it creates a continuously flowing block that was once 2 blocks. But notice that it actually kept that vertical space in there. That's because our system is smart and it's put in a vertical spacer of 7 points. This is our programming language that we will talk about more in future videos, but it's outside the scope of today's meeting. Now, this is a very smooth process. As you can see, you can take existing artwork files, have real imprint information on them, upload them, and have PageDNA figure out almost everything, and then give you the ability to interpret things that maybe our system guessed incorrectly. But there's another trick here I want to show you. Many of you have artwork files stored in a competitor to PageDNA's system, and you need to get those files out and into PageDNA, but you don't have access to the source files. They may have been lost a long time ago, or you didn't even ever have them. Well, the good news is we have another approach that removes the ability for our system to guess and lets you define explicitly where every variable goes. Let's look at this example. Instead of using real-world examples, I've put in text in square brackets that are PageDNA's standard variable names. We have names for almost everything: titles, addresses, departments, phone numbers, phone labels, web addresses. It goes on, and they're all defined in our documentation. When you use this approach of putting the PageDNA official variable name in square brackets and then upload it to our system doesn't need to guess. It knows exactly which field is going where because you told it. So the little trick is this. You can go into our competitor's online ordering system, order something with the variable names in each slot, get a PDF, and then use that to create your templates in PageDNA. This can allow you a fast way to export data from other systems. And also, if you've lost original source files, you can use this. So let's try that out. I'm going to delete the style that you saw me create a moment ago, and we're going to create one now with this file where we've explicitly defined the variables. Here we go. So in this case, PageDNA has less work to do. We know what goes where, and our system will, without any ambiguity, put the right variable into the right spot for you. So I hope this has shown you a little bit of some of PageDNA's tools that could dramatically lower your total cost of ownership. By total cost of ownership, I mean not just what you pay a web-to-print provider, but the time that you and other staff members are using building and maintaining these. That's the secret in our industry. There's a lot of extra expenses that you do not see on the bottom line, and we are protecting you and your bottom line by making it very easy and fast for you to build templates in PageDNA. I hope this has helped you learn a little bit about our product, and looking forward to showing you more in our next video. This has been Steve Enstead, CEO of PageDNA. Thank you for your time.